up and the waters rise, my dock won't budge and that's no surprise. Thru-Flow's tough, lets the storm roll through, saves me money and repairs too. Built to last, no need to fear, trust Thru-Flow Decking, you're in the clear. Strong and steady, it's tried and true, for every storm Thru-Flow sees you through.
If you're on the fence about using Thru-Flow engineered decking for your dock build, consider my recent conversation with the Butler family from Beachtown, Texas.
So it was during COVID that we decided we would redo the pier because we had a lot of missing boards and the boys were trying to hop out there, jump from board to board. It was dangerous, or walk the railing. So we just bit the bullet, and we were COVIDing anyway, and redid it and spent a bunch of money.
Sure.
And then less than a year, it was gone.
Really?
We just had a bad tropical storm that stayed out there and bit it from underneath the waves and knocked off like Kontiki-sized rafts. Mm-hmm. It stayed together with all our expensive screws, but it didn't last.
I see.
And then we just decided if we were going to live here, and then the Johansons down the way, they built their Thru-Flow pier at the same time we were constructing our wooden one.
Sure.
And theirs lasted beautifully through that storm that tore up our wooden one.
How is theirs holding up to today?
Beautifully.
Still very good?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But with Beryl, there were a lot of wooden piers that were destroyed, and so they had some debris that came up and knocked some of their Thru-Flow panels. That's the only thing that can happen. But
so if everybody would go to Thru-Flow, then we'd all be in good shape.
Yeah.
No piers would ever die again.
It would be. And yeah, I mean, it's the wave. But people still build wooden piers. I think it's about double. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's at least 40% more. I think it's double.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, are you kidding? It's hurricane-proof now. Okay. Having a pier is a grandchild attractant for Mary and Papa Woody.
Yeah.
And the peace of mind we have is we know it's going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's not going to blow away. Right. It'll always be there, ready to go.
And also the fishing has improved. I don't know how that's happened.
Yeah, how did they do that?
Yeah,
we started catching redfish, 40-inch redfish, as soon as the pier was finished.
So are you going on record right now saying that the Thru-Flow decking
attracted fish?
Well, we thought it was a miracle that the pier was there.
Oh, okay.
After Beryl, because it was much like
it was a test.
We
were worried.
We had a broken pier for 5 years.
Yeah.
And we
And
hemmed
we
and hawed. We would fix a little bit, and it would blow away. Mm-hmm. And we were hesitant to spend the money on the Thru-Flow. We knew about it, and we got a bid several years ago to do it, but we didn't pull the trigger. From the time we finished construction on this pier, Crawley's finished construction, it wasn't but two or 3 months before Beryl hit.
Yeah,
like right away.
It was right away, so
exactly.
we thought, here we go again. You know?
Exactly.
It was this pier here. There was a period of 12 to 20 hours where this pier was underwater. You couldn't see it. And so we were all wondering, is it going to be there when the water resides?
Yeah.
Describe for me how rough the waters were.
The water was up to this palm tree almost.
Oh, wow.
So the entire structure was underwater. You could see the top portion of the roof over the boathouse.
It's real frustrating not to have a pier when that's the reason you're there.
Sure. And so
it's another world. It can be hot here, and you step on that pier, and it's a transition.
Okay.
It's ethereal, right?
So they do say that they have materials in it that keep it from being really hot on the surface of the pier.
Yeah, it's not hot
It's
at all.
not hot.
It's not hot at all. Okay.
No.
Well, let me also go back to this. I mean, you
And no
about
splinters.
Yeah.
I mean, Gregory showed you.
I've got a good side of that, yes.
I mean, danger.
I thought we were going to have to cut my foot off.
I
really did.
Well, the doctor.
Well, at first I thought the splinter was that big, but there was that much of it in my heel.
Well,
No
let me
more.
ask you this. That's a good segue to, you said that you had about 40 teenagers, and you know how teenagers can be rough, and
Yeah.
probably running and sprinting up and down the thing or anything.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any worry about the durability of the Pier?
No, not the durability. The only thing that we didn't want is for people who are not like, we didn't encourage them to take golf carts out when they'd been partying.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, and as a rule, that's just the rule.
So, but the pier was undamaged by the 40 teenagers. There was a big party. The golf carts were going up and back, and it's pristine.
Right. So, well, let me ask you this: when you decided to rebuild the pier and have the Thru-Flow decking installed, about how long did it take to complete it?
Well, we started with the pilings.
Oh, yeah.
We raised up the pilings, so that was a month or two of getting the pilings set, and then
Yeah,
they started with the runners another couple of weeks.
They have
And then the decking
huge
goes
machinery, though. Their machinery. They have big platforms. I mean, they do ship channel work. They work for plants. In fact, Brent Crawley doesn't do that much residential. We were fortunate because he's a neighbor.
Once they started, it was less than
I
maybe
mean,
4 months, 5 months.
right.
It went fast. Once the pilings were in and driven, the decking and the runners were easy.
I cannot tell you how we're really proud to have it been built by Crawley Construction.
Oh, I see.
They're just great.
So it's Brent who introduced you to
Thru-Flow.
the porous type decking
Thru-Flow.
product?
Well,
Okay.
we watched him building the Johansson Pier,
Uh-huh.
and knew about it from that. But yes, and he has Crawley Construction has the franchise for the Thru-Flow for this area.
So, I mean, you have a number of neighbors who, they have a situation, Describe that for me. I mean, what's the kind of anxiety that you go through, trying to decide, what to build, what to use, whether you, go with the most premium products that you can, or, just do a conventional build?
For a pier?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we know that wooden ones don't last. I mean, that's through. I can't tell you how many.
25 years of experience told us that.
Mm-hmm.
But, and also, I mean, just because this pier was here when Mother was 16, there's no telling how many times it's been rebuilt. And sometimes people will rebuild it inadequately, so it lasts. And you never know what a storm's going to do, how high the water's going to be.
Basically, we spent more money rebuilding the pier 5 times. If
Oh,
we'd have just
gosh.
rebuilt it with through-hole the first time,
Exactly.
we just wouldn't have had to do it again.
But I don't even know if it was available.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, we rebuilt, the money we spent to rebuild the pier just in the last 20 years was, the 5 or 6 times was more than, one
Yeah.
time here. So we're hoping we never have to do it again. So.
Sure. How satisfied are you with the performance of the products thus far?
We're ecstatic.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
One thing I love is the consistency of it. The wooden piers you'd have certain boards that would warp over time. This
Yeah.
one would dip and this one would bow. And so it was just really uneven. You'd be tripping and catching splinters all the time. But the consistent level of the Thru-Flow is something I appreciate.
Would you recommend Thru-Flow decking to anyone who's building it?
The multitudes.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's the only way to go, I think.
For sure, yeah. No more
Kristen,
wood.
what do you think?
Of course.
And Jennifer?
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you guys like the decking that was chosen?
I mean, it's nice to have a promise that it's not gonna be gone 1 year. Like, we're pretty confident that it's gonna last us a while, and we appreciate about just how the safety in it.
Well, I've already said I love the consistency of it. The old wooden decks get warped and they get bendy, and the Thru-Flow is just true. You know where your feet are going to land, and it's nice for the golf cart. It's not bouncy. That's what I love.
I love how clean it is. Very clean, and I like clean.
Yep.
And then it'll just wash clean.
And of course, the waves when
Yeah.
the water does rise, man, it's cool. The water waves just flow right through it. There's no impact.
It's beautiful.
The aesthetics of
The
it.
waves
Yeah.
used to pound the wooden piers, and you could see it just buckling and pulling on the screws. But with this Thru-Flow, it's just like butter. It's cool to watch.
There you go.
So it's it makes a family happy.
It does.
When the wind kicks up and the waters rise, my dock won't budge, and that's no surprise. Thru-Flow's tough, lets a storm roll through, saves me money and repairs too. Built to last, no need to fear. Trust Thru-Flow Decking, you're in the clear. Strong and steady, it's tried and true. For every storm, Thru-Flow sees you through. The waves may crash, the thunder may roar, but my dock stands strong like never before. With every plank, it's built to stay through the toughest nights and the longest days. Built to last, no need to fear. Trust Thru-Flow Decking, you're in the clear. Strong and steady, it's tried and true. For every storm, Thru-Flow sees you through. The waves may crash, the thunder may roar, but my dock stands strong like never before. With every plank, it's built to stay through the toughest nights and the longest days. Built to last, no need to fear. Trust Thru-Flow Decking, you're in the clear. Strong and steady, it's tried and true. For every storm, Thru-Flow sees you through. No cracking, no breaking, no worries at all. Through the seasons of spring, summer, and fall. From the first sunrise to the last light's glow, Thru-Flow's the name every dock owner knows. Built to last, no need to fear. Trust Thru-Flow Decking, you're in the clear. Strong and steady, it's tried and true. For every storm, Thru-Flow sees you through. Sees you through.